Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time joining, I'm your girl Tamika, and it's totally Mika. So for today's video, I just wanted to share some like 5 challenges that international students tend to face. These challenges, some are unique to different students, especially there's a lot of factor at play, especially where you're from. So some of them may apply to some international students while some may not. So let's say some factors are unique to some persons while some factors are not. So let's get into the right. So a little backstory. I started school last year, 2020. So yes, last year fall. I'm doing my master's. So I'm a little bit more mature to certain things. So for a person who's an undergrad, it might be a little bit more challenge, especially when you're transferring from your high school into undergrad here. While if you did your undergrad in your country and then you're coming here to do your master's, it might pose as a problem also, or not necessarily a problem, some challenges. So the first challenge that right, so as I say, I started school last year. So how I was taught back at my university in my own country, it's a little bit different here because everything is different in a sense that their grading system. Also, what I've gotten to understand is that most of what we are learning is tailored to wherever you are. So certain things that you might learn here, you might not necessarily use it when you get back home if you're planning to go back to your country to work, because the laws and everything varies. So the first challenge that I personally face, and I think I was able to slide in a little bit better because I went on work and travel before, so I had a little feel of what the American culture is like. But it was not in a school perspective. It wasn't in a school environment. It was more of me working in their food places and all those stuff. So it was a little bit different. But the first thing is cultural shock. Trust me when I say that the excitement to come here, it was like 100. It was all the way up there. But as soon as you land and you're like, oh my god, what did I just sign up for? Because everything is different. I keep looking at like the way how it get around and all those stuff is way different than getting around here. It's like if you don't drive, if you don't have someone to bring you around, or if there's not a bus system, that can pose as a problem. So as I said, the cultural shock is like you'll be excited, trust me. Wow, I'm getting to go to another country to study. Yes, but then when you get here, like, oh my god, a lot of things are different. Some people adapt quicker than some people, while some people becomes homesick and all those stuff. So it varies. But as I said, the first thing is cultural shock. The other problem that I realized is language barrier. For me, it was a little bit more easier because I'm coming from an English-speaking country. While what I observed, like persons who are coming from Spanish, if they're Korean, wherever they are, and if English is not their main language, they tend to have a harder time adjusting because it's like understanding the material. It is taught in English. So if you're not like fluent, you may not understand how to do certain things. You may not be able to express yourself as much. And yes, some school offer, like my school personally offer like an academic office where you can go and get assistance, but sometimes that is not enough. And then some of the lectures are lenient, they try to help, but then some are still not enough, because based on where I'm working is like you'll get email saying, hey, can you help this student, because they're not getting the material as much. So yes, that poses a problem. The lectures, that's another thing. Like some lecturers are more approachable than some. So it's like The teaching material might be different. Trust me, some of them are nice while some are not on the not so nice side. So it's like how they go about lecturing is a little bit different than what you're used to. And they always have the saying is that, trust me, like high school and college is like so different. It is so different. There is no comparison. It's like you're at 0 and then they just slap you to 50 right there and like, hey, whatever. As you know, said, lectures, sometimes it is difficult to understand the lectures in a sense, like based on the material that they push forward. Sometimes you don't understand, as I say, if English is not your first language and you're in a place where English is their first language, the comprehension might be a little bit different. So that can pose as a problem if you're as an international student. I touch on this academic writing. So as I said, it is different. Also, what I've observed is that you might be from an English country, speaking country, but then it depends on what kind of English you use. If you use British English or USA English, so that's also an issue. So when you're writing your academic paper, it varies. So you might say, okay, this sounds okay in, but then when you give the lecture, it's like, oh, this is, so that's another problem that a lot of students face, is like the difference in academic writing. And one of the things, especially if you're in like a field that requires a lot of writing, is like, that is definitely a problem. And the final issue the final challenge that most international students face is finance. And that's like one of the biggest thing. One, especially if you're an international student where your parents are not wealthy, but you still wanted to push to to reach a point where you are able to take care of your family, to make a difference in your family. So finance is one of the things, because as international student, some school allow you to work, but you're not allowed to work off campus unless it's like an internship that contribute to your career or to your field. So it varies. And then another thing, as international student, we're not allowed to borrow loans or grant, because some school you have to sign up for like this thing called FAFSA or something like that, FAFSA, something like that. And if you're not an international student, you won't have the required document to sign up for that. So hence you're not able to borrow a loan or to get a grant. And then the scholarships tend to be limited to international students. It is limited, and also it depends on the school that you're going to. It is even more limited. So that's one of the things. And as I say, you're not allowed to work off campus, because if you work off campus, that is considered to be illegal. As I say, I'm mostly talking for the school that I am attending. Maybe other schools have different stipulation or different rules, but that's like one of the things. So even if you're working, you can only work one job. And because one other thing is that they said that your goal, why you're here, is to go to school, not necessarily work. So you should not be working too much when you're supposed to be studying. So even if you can manage it, it does not matter. And another thing I realize is that you're limited to the amount of hours that you work per week. So you're only allowed to work, I think, the maximum 20 hours, or else the school can report you and your visa be terminated. So that's another topic. But I say these are like 5 challenges. As I said, the language, the finance, the writing, the challenge understanding your writing, and also the cultural shock. A lot of students tend to meet up on that, because things that goes on that is accepted in your country, it is not necessarily accepted here. So yes, anyway guys, those are just the challenges that I've observed. Some of them were some of them I was able to navigate through a little bit more, but for persons who are coming into the state for the first time, it tend to be very, 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 very hard. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Anyway guys, bye, be blessed.